Okay, so if you are a wedding photographer, you may have realized by now that there are some things that happen on a wedding day that are completely beyond your control. Whether it be from a lack of great light, whether it's a rush timeline, whether it is, you're dealing with a bridesmaid's dress that's bright orange, like you can't change that. There's no way around that. But some of these things can result in what I like to call wedding day editing nightmares. So you have to deal with the repercussions of the unfortunate situation while you're shooting in Lightroom later when you're editing, and it can be super overwhelming. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna break down the 5 most common miserable editing experiences that come from wedding day. So I've photographed for over 15 years, and these situations and these struggles show up, if not at every wedding, almost at every single wedding. They're hard to deal with, they're frustrating, and I'm gonna break down not only what they are, but also how you can fix them and find solutions in Lightroom. Now, let me first say, I hate that I even titled this Nightmare Anything, because everything about this wedding was an absolute dream. And I just want to emphasize, whenever I talk about anything that's a challenge, I want to make sure people understand I loved this wedding. I love my weddings in general. But there are things that arise that you can't help. My couple couldn't help this. They can't change this. Some of these things I could have adjusted and made better. So in some ways it's my adjustments that could have been different. But some of these things you can't help. And so I just want to bring to attention ways that you can help solve some of these issues. Walking into a situation where you're photographing beautiful decor like this, but when you start to open up the highlights or use a flash, you start to shoot and you realize wow, the ceiling is a huge distraction. So let me show you what I mean. So if I was to brighten this up, like this, okay, so I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. I love the look of this, but I feel like the rafters and the roof, orange is not a part of the wedding decor. That's not a color that they're using. They're using this emerald color and this fuchsia color. It's really fun and poppy. But I think the roof, even though it adds a little something, it can be a little bit of a distraction. And I don't know if you can tell this, but from this area is a little too cool. It looks a little too blue, a little too purple. And so what do we do about that? Well, there's a lot of different approaches that you could do. For me, I'm going to focus on warming up. I'm looking at the bottom here. I'm warming up this to look appropriate. And then I'll fix everything else. So I like to do this manually in this situation because it's such a unique space. So we've got the pop. I think from here down, it looks great. I'm going to reduce purple just a little bit. And now we got to work on fixing the roof. So there's a few things we could do. I think the most beneficial thing would be to come and do a linear gradient, cool it down and desaturate and open up the blacks just a little bit. All right, so the goal is to just take away some of the intensity of the roof. It's not that we're trying to hide that it is a orange or a wooden roof, that when you bring out the shadows, it becomes more orange. We're just toning it down, and you can tone that down in a lot of different ways. We could have left it as is and cooled the entire image and then use a gradient to warm up just this, but I prefer what we just did because we're just isolating the issue to just adjusting this part. So it's desaturated, it's cooled down, and that is something that if you have multiple shots like this where the ceiling is taking up 50% of the image, you can batch apply that, which would be a really quick way to fix that overall orange issue. So that's kind of what it looked like before. I'm actually going to reset it. It looked like that before, and that was with a normal edit, and then this is the final edit where everything just looks a little bit more even. So we still have the warmth, but it's not overpowering. Now let's talk about this. This is an editing nightmare because of the mixture of flash, people standing, no off-camera flash behind them, and tungsten light on the walls and twinkle lights and a floor. If the floor was concrete, this would have been completely different. If the floor was a neutral color, but the floor had the same warmth as the walls and the ceiling. And another challenge is that we have red and pink flowers. So if all the flowers were white, then reducing and taking out some of the red tones would be a little less tricky because you can only do it so much without losing skin tones. And so I'm just going to break this down, what I did with this editing nightmare again. Now, the reason why this is a challenge to begin with is because I just have a little bit of bounce flash from my on-camera flash here. You can tell because there's no light hitting people here. I didn't have my off-camera flash firing because it was back here and it was causing shadows on them. So I think either Michael turned it around or I quickly turned it off. But you can tell like the only light that's allowing like clean light to hit them is from my flash that's pointing directly towards them, and it was low powered. So that means editing wise, this is going to be a challenge because as I brighten this up, it's going to become very, very warm and very, very orange and very, very red. And so I've got to really think through how can I manage this to make it look not so overwhelmingly warm. This was a final attempt, final image. I'm going to pull those blacks down a little bit. It's not going to be perfect, but I don't think their skin tones look too dead. I think he's looking a little blue. So what I could do is come here. I'm getting ahead of myself, but what I could do here is just warm up his face a little bit so that it matches her face a little bit more. I'm going to warm up. And I could have done that by literally selecting just him as a person, but it doesn't matter. Because there's a lot of people that it would try to select. And so it's a lot faster just to like warm up his cheek and his neck a little bit. So this is not a bad approach, but a lot had to happen to get it to this place. And so let's work through that. So when I brighten this, I'm going to brighten it. I'm going to add some pop. Now, wow, look at what's happening. So everyone behind them is extra warm. So what I want to do is I'm going to cool down everyone in the background. I'm going to cool them down because technically this guy's skin and even her skin, it's looking a little too blue. But they're still looking okay because they are really being photographed in tungsten light where my flash is mainly hitting them. So it makes sense that like their skin tones are doing okay where they look way too blue. But what I want to do here is I want to adjust the whole image thinking about everything outside of them, and then I'm going to select them as the subject somewhat. It might select this guy too a little bit and her because they're in focus a little bit. And I'm going to warm them up by themselves without warming up the background. So I'm also going to come down here and I'm going to reduce the oranges and the yellows just a little bit. I'm also going to reduce the purple because reducing the purple is going to take away some tones. You see that in the jackets without ruining the magenta flowers. So we have this. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to select just the subject. So this is, and is this perfect? No, I told you it's going to get this woman a little bit and that guy, but now I can just warm up a little bit. See how it's warming up their skin tone? That's what I want. I'm going to also reduce the tint just a little bit. So I'm warming up the skin tone, and let's go back to here. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to adjust just the tonal curve on them. Now I don't love that I don't have my normal sliders. It kind of gives CC vibes, Lightroom CC vibes here without the sliders. That's just because I'm editing it in the mask. Now, maybe I just don't know how to make those appear, and that's something I need to figure out on my own. But, so I'm making them pop just a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I am going to come up here and I am going to just make sure I get a little bit of the orange shadows away. So the KJ Nuzzle brush is going to bring me over here. Now remember, this was shot at 4000 ISO, so we're also going to do some noise reduction. He's got some orange in his hair and some orange on his face a little bit. Now, I think this is brightening it up a little bit too much, so we're going to change this to KJ Light Nuzzle Brush, which is basically just a light bump of exposure and really just a desaturator. So I'm getting rid of all those extra highlights that are going to make the image look a little too orange on them. Okay, so we're doing great. The other thing I want to do before I fix the rest of the color issues is that I want to come down here and I'm going to do denoise. I love this feature. It does take time and it is hard to batch edit a ton. I don't want it too much. I just want a little bit. Oh, great. And so I'm just smoothing it out, especially because this is probably an image that's going to end up in an album. Now you might say, why don't you just deliver this in black and white? I totally will. I probably blogged it in black and white. I don't love this image color wise. And so, okay, let's just look at where we started. I'm kind of showing you a lot of tips in one, but let me go back here. So this is where we started. Okay. Wow. And this is it a little bit more and bump the tint a little bit back towards green. So a lot better than straight out of camera. And if you're looking at this, you're like, oh, wow, that makes me feel better. That's not that great. It's not an ideal situation, right? I wish that I had an off-camera flash in the background back here that was brightening up the background. That would have been beautiful. It would have added much more clean light, but I didn't have that. And so looking back, I wish I had, but I'm glad we could save it. Okay, so let's move on to another issue. And that is when you're dealing with skin tones that are uneven or skin tones that are being shot with flash in an orange reflective setting. This is very similar to the last issue that I was just showing you, but this could happen in a church with red carpet. This could happen really anywhere where you have a reflective surface. And so there's a few issues here. This is actually edited, but I'm going to show you some isolated edits that I would do on top of the final edit, because what I notice here is that Dad's skin, it has more pink and more red. Her skin has more olive tones, but I don't like the shadowed area that looks so orange here because she did have more of a tan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and do a light nuzzle brush here. And basically I'm taking off the edge of that, not the literal edge, but the edge of the intensity of the orange. And so you don't want to do too much, because if you do too much, it starts to look unnatural. Like that should be a shadowed area, but I just don't want it to be so bright. Same thing for his face. I'm just going to take away in the shadow some of the intensity of the red. Now you might think, well, that didn't do that much, but it actually did. So let me show you. I'm going to just duplicate this and I'm going to delete that. And I want you to look overall at this image versus this image right here. Let's compare side by side. So this is the edited one and this is the unedited one. So this is edited. This is still pretty orange. Other side of his face. See that redness on the shadow side? It looks way more even here. And so overall, this is going to look so much better printed. And that's just such a slight minor change. So a lot of times I see people post in KG Education and they are so worried and they are so overwhelmed with their edits. And they don't understand that it's actually not a full edit issue. It's a isolated edit issue. And that can happen a lot on wedding days when you're shooting. This was shot in the dead of winter. So it was a warmer day in winter, but it was also starting to sprinkle a little bit outside, so I couldn't really take them outside. And this entire property had orange ceilings, and so I had to make it work in this space. Another issue that you might run into when you're shooting in a space like this on a wedding day that could be perceived as an editing nightmare. Again, this was a beautiful reception. I loved this wedding. This was not a nightmare wedding. It was a dream. But a situation you might find yourself in is that you're photographing in a space like this where there's no reflection from the ceiling. Again, look at this floor. There's no reflection coming up from this floor. This is not white concrete. It's like dark rust red concrete. So in a situation like this, the light's hitting them and it's hitting them from behind. There's a off-camera flash behind her head that's brightening up the background so it's not so flat and black behind them. But if you were to look at this straight out of camera, look at that. I mean, wow. I'm using two flashes here, plus I'm bouncing a little bit off the ceiling or a little bit towards them for my on-camera flash. And it could have been brighter, but because of how tight the space was, my flash power was so low powered and I had an umbrella, but the light was still pretty intense as far as like highlight and shadow. And so I didn't want to increase that. My ISO was at 2000 already. And so it really was just the effects of a very dark, light absorbing space. So in wedding situations where you find yourself in a space like this, it can be challenging in editing to realize like, okay, she looks great, but everything else looks like a black hole. And I had light, exposing them. But these people were so far back. If they were like more at this line, they would have been brighter because the light of this flash that's hitting her would hit them. I could have used a little bit more flash power, but I like the exposure on her. So how do you edit this? Well, I would first start by, I'm using the preset process over here. So bright 2 over here on the preset process. And I'm looking at this thinking, okay, that's good, but we're going to open up the blacks a little bit. Now I got to be careful because if I do too much, we start to use we lose the dimension in her face. So I'm just going to do a little bit like that and then bump up the shadows just a little bit. But now we're dealing with an orange issue. Okay. And so we're going to come back down here and we're going to reduce the orange just a little bit. But if you do too much, you can't do too much at all. It's got to be a happy medium. Okay. So that's probably about where I'm going to have it right there. And I'm going to actually pull the shadows down a little bit more. Now, in general, I think honestly, I don't want to lose the detail of her face. I like where we are here. I could select the subject, and then I could invert it. I could try to brighten up the background a little bit, which would work. And actually it works great. And I could also desaturate that just a little bit. So the couple's not being desaturated. I'm just brightening up the background a little bit. And that would be a lot better than simply editing from where I started. I think a lot of people would see something like this and think like, oh, I'm going to brighten it, but like that's as bright as I can get. So I guess that's all I can do. But the reality is there's actually a lot more you can do to make it a little bit brighter. I did prefer this as a black and white, but maybe that's just me. All right, let's move on to another, a final editing issue that I wanted to break down for you. This image, I feel like there's some issues with this, just because this was a really big ballroom with a big wedding, a lot of people. And so I was using my flash, and there were a few people that like stood up in the back of the room to take a picture. And you can see that shadow here of where they stood up and their shadow cast a shadow on the bride. Can you imagine realizing? Like, of course they didn't realize that, or they wouldn't have done it. But standing up real quick in the back, it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt a thing. But like, nope, you stood in front of a flash. So now we have your hand, as a shadow here. A little bit of shadowing here, but, and I could have fixed that if I brought my flash further over to the side, to the left, but there was a big column, and so I couldn't do that without getting closer. And I wanted to have my flash pulled back so that when I shot like this, the flash was hitting everyone in the back of the head and high enough to like be capturing them. You can see a little bit of a shadow here, but it's not bad. I do want to talk about what you do in a situation where you have a shadow, and how I would edit to make it less obvious. So this is the final image. The only thing I don't love is like this memorial chair and this lady's pink pants. It's like, that's really killing the vibe. I really could desaturate that corner a little bit. But the trick is here is that you're brightening more than you think to. And I talk about this in the KJ Consistency course. It's my editing course. It is one of my best-selling courses because I basically empower you to make Lightroom your best friend. And you just know, it's like you control it. You're the master of it, and it's not overwhelming you. You know exactly how to use it to your advantage. So instead of using the preset process over here that I've done in the other examples, I'm just going to do this manually. And so I am going to brighten more than you would think. Brighten through exposure and adjusting the highlights. So I'm not losing my detail, but I'm still brightening the image. This is important. I call this opening up the image. So you're opening up the image in order to add pop to the image. Pop to the image is what's going to allow it to not look flat and washed out. So we're going to come down here and add our pop with a backward C, which is my pattern. If you're in the consistency course, you know that. I'm also going to cool it down a little bit more, quite a bit actually. And then I'm going to come down and reduce the blues just so his jacket or his suit doesn't look too blue. It was actually a gray suit. I'm going to add more pop here in the tonal curve, reduce the highlights every time I do that. And honestly, that's looking pretty good. But where it started from, if you don't understand how to use Lightroom, you may think like, oh no, I've got to start by cloning this out. When the reality is, if you open up the image in a way that doesn't it doesn't take away all the detail, but it brightens and opens up the image, then a lot of that detail from the flash is going to disappear. And there's one way that you can also get rid of it just lightly. Coming down here, you're just going to lighten it a little bit, reduce the blacks a little bit, pull up the shadows a little bit, and desaturate, right like this. I'm going to pull all these up a little bit more, but you don't want to do too much because then it's going to be noticeable, but that is going to help that melt away as well. Okay, so if you watch through all of that and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, like there's so much about Lightroom that I would love to learn. And maybe you're thinking, I really struggle with skin tones, not just skin tones, but just being able to recognize like where something is off and like how to make your Instagram feed actually look consistent. I have a class that's actually free. You can watch this and totally change the consistency level of your work in just 1 hour's time. Learning how to not only capture but edit to great skin tones is the most important and most vital tool you need to know to become a successful wedding photographer. You cannot be a wedding photographer and succeed without understanding how to manage this part of your editing process. So I can teach you all of that. It's all free. Dive in, link is below. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe because I'm constantly doing episodes and I'd love for you to not miss one in the future. So thanks for tuning in and I will see you next time. Bye.